everybody. Hey. Welcome to the latest and newest edition of the Total Sports Ozone. I am the big O with the big mouth. Oscar coming at you as I do every day at this time to give you my take in the world of sports. On today's extravaganza, we're going to talk about the biggest game, college football. Coming up again, we're coming up on week 5. We're going to talk about the biggest games this weekend, the most intriguing matchups. Then we're going to look at NFL. Biggest game this weekend, I believe. Yeah, you can say Tampa Bay and Philly. You can say Kansas City Chiefs against the Ravens. But the biggest game, I believe, this weekend happens in Arlington, Texas. When Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers come in to play the Dallas Cowboys. How is that going to turn out? What's the atmosphere going to look like? What Jerry Jones going to think? A lot of questions going into that game. We'll talk about that later on. And, of course, we'll update the MLB pennant races. Some teams clinched last night. Mariners clinched the AL West. Who saw that coming? Some teams on the verge of clinching. So we'll get into that on today's show. First, college football. Week 5 starts Friday, really. And there's some big games. I mean, there are some big games coming up this weekend. Real big-time matchups. I call it put up or shut up Saturday. You know, the Penn State, Oregon. That's a big matchup. Let's face it. Both those two teams have played chumps. Scrubs. Up until now. And that's why they've looked good, and that's why they've been ranked so high. But I've said before, rankings don't mean nothing this time of year. First 3-4 weeks, they don't mean nothing. Because most teams have played probably one decent game, one game against a decent opponent, and the rest they played chumps. Scrubs. Even my Buckeyes have done it. They played Texas, first game of the season. Number 1 coming into the season. Beat them. And then they played a couple of cupcakes. Let's face it. They played cupcakes. All little sisters of the poor University for Women. All these teams have done it. Well, now it's time for the rubber to meet the road. This week 5 is usually the time where the rubber meets the road. I call it put up or shut up. We're going to find out once and for all what these top teams, especially the teams in the current top 10, what are they about? We're going to find out something about these teams this weekend. Here's Ohio State, an actual threat to repeat as national champions. They're going all the way out west to meet Washington. Last time they went out west to play a Big Ten opponent, it didn't turn out so well. Lost to Oregon by 1 point. Will that happen again? Who knows? In Washington, I'm not going to say Washington's some scrubs. Their quarterback could give Ohio State a whole lot of problems. Can the defense slow him down? Will Julian Sain actually finally show what he's truly capable of as the quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes? We'll find out. But that's not even the biggest matchup. That's definitely not the biggest matchup. It's one of the biggest because where Ohio State is ranked. But it's not the biggest. In my eyes, the biggest matchup this weekend is Oregon going to Beaver Stadium to play Penn State. I mean, we got to know about these teams. Oregon has been blasting everybody. So is Penn State. But do anybody really expect Oregon or Penn State to hang 50-some points on the other? I don't, but we going to find out. And James Franklin, the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions, he needs to win this game. First off, it's at home. Whiteout. It's a whiteout game in Beaver. It's the whiteout game in Beaver Stadium. Atmosphere. That's one of the craziest big-time atmospheres in all of college football. Maybe in all of sports. When there's a whiteout in a stadium that seats, roughly 110,000. That's a crazy atmosphere. Loud the whole game. Is Oregon ready for that? And quite frankly, is Dan Franklin's team up to it? Dan Franklin is 4-20 against AP top 10 opponents at his time at Penn State. He is 4-20. That has been his problem. That has been his biggest bugaboo ever since he's been the head coach of Penn State. He can beat everybody, pretty much. He can beat the chumps, he can beat the middle teams, he can beat the second tier teams, especially in the Big Ten. He can beat them all, except Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon. He can't beat those teams for some reason. He can try, but he can never do it. He's beaten Ohio State only once in his time as head coach. He's beaten them only once. And that was on a blocked field goal that was ran back for a touchdown. And the crazy thing about it is the year he finally beat Ohio State, they won the Big Ten championship. Made it to the college football playoff. Can he beat him? Can he beat Michigan? Nope. He can, like I said, Franklin can beat everybody else. Everybody else in the Big Ten, except those three teams. Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon. This is a put up or shut up moment for James Franklin. This is the first one. If whoever loses this game, Oregon or Penn State, it's not going to necessarily knock them out of the playoff conversation. It'll only be their first loss. But it's a prove it moment in the Big Ten. It's a prove it moment in my eyes. Can James Franklin finally beat a top tier team? He has tried numerous occasions. And he's had numerous occasions to try to knock off one of the big heavies in the Big Ten. And that maybe even in the college football landscape all across the country. Hasn't been able to do it. At least not to the consistency that bestows us to think that Penn State is one of the better teams in the country. He's had a problem with that. I mean, the record doesn't lie. 4-20 against AP top 10 teams. He has a problem with the big boys. He can beat the little boys. He can beat the babies. He can't beat the big boys. This is a chance to prove that he can do that. And he's going to have in his house with a whiteout. He has to take care of business. There are a few coaches playing big time games this weekend that like I said, put up or shut up. And that's one of the intriguing matchups this weekend. I think it's the biggest one. Some of y'all may not. But I think that's the biggest matchup based on where these teams are ranked. I believe that's the biggest matchup this weekend in the college football. But there are others. There are definitely others. You got USC traveling to number 23 Illinois. And Illinois is going to be heated after the butt whooping Indiana laid on them last weekend. And I mean, they laid a butt whooping on them. How will Illinois respond? I think they're going to be heated. They should. They got thoroughly and without mercy thumped on national TV. How will they respond? And they got a pretty decent USC squad coming in. That's going to be a good matchup. Lou Altmaier and Brett Bielema, can they redeem themselves? That game's going to be on Fox, so it's going to be on national TV. Can they redeem themselves in the eyes of not only their fans, but all the college football nation? We'll find out. Friday, I will be doing my picks. Of course. As usual, I will be picking against the spread. But that will be on tomorrow's show. Today, we're just previewing. That's another intriguing matchup. Got another one. Oh, Georgia, of course. Georgia and Alabama. In Stanford Stadium at night. Oh, boy. What do you say about that one? Number 17, Alabama. Number 5, Georgia. Stanford Stadium. Prime time. That, to me, that's the SEC knockout. That's an SEC knockout game. But who needs that game more? Georgia can afford to lose a game. Alabama really can't. Alabama really cannot afford to lose another game before week 7. They can't afford it. But can they actually beat Georgia in Georgia? Who knows? Coach DeBeer from Alabama, he's another coach that needs to win this game this weekend. He needs to. Simple as that. He needs to win this game this weekend. Just to get, not only to keep the faithful in Tuscaloosa off his back for another week, but to also elevate the team. The team was pretty down after how they lost to Florida State. They've been able to rebound themselves, but they haven't played nobody since then. But they've been able to rebound a little bit from that. But now you're playing the SEC big dog in the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, Kirby Smart, he's had a problem with Alabama over the years. Regular season, SEC championship game. When he finally learned how to beat Alabama, they were national champions. But he's had a problem with them over the years. Or is it he had a problem with Nick Saban? That's the question. Has Kirby Smart had a problem with Alabama as a whole, or was it just Coach Saban? It's like he only beat Coach Saban like once in all the time he's been there. But now he got Alabama and Coach DeBeer's squad in his house Saturday night. I'm still not sold on Georgia's offense. I still think it's up and down. Stockton, he's coming along a little bit, but still, don't know. I really don't know. And Simpson for Alabama. Yeah, his numbers will look better. But again, like you said, he played a couple of cupcakes. This is his first true road test since the Florida State game. How will they play? Personally, I think Alabama needs to play with a sense of urgency. The whole game. Every 60 minutes of that game, Alabama needs to play with the intensity and sense of urgency that Nick Saban would have them playing like, hey, he still be the head coach. That's the only way I see Alabama having a chance to knock off Georgia in Sanford Stadium in Athens. They have to play with a sense of urgency. That was lacking when they played at Florida State in week 1. They can't afford to slack and slip and play like they just don't wish they weren't there this weekend. They can't afford to do that. I believe they know that. If Coach DeBeer doesn't want to feel the heat, and trust me, it's going to be some heat. They really need to play with a sense of urgency. It's the only way I see them winning this game. Any other way, they don't bring it. And I mean, every minute that clock's ticking, they need to bring it. Both sides of the ball. Simpson needs to throw it deep. They need to be able to run the ball. Whoever controls the line of scrimmage in this game is probably going to win the game. And Alabama, they got to take care of the ball, of course. But I think it's all going to come down to the line of scrimmage. Whoever line of scrimmage is a little bit more dominant, that's the team that's pretty going to walk out of there with a win. But for Alabama, it's got to be a sense of urgency. It can't be another SEC. No. You're playing the king of the SEC right now. They still the big dogs until somebody knock them off the porch. So you got to come with it. I don't care if you were playing this in a mutual site game in Tuscaloosa, Athens. I don't care if you're playing this on the moon. Alabama needs to play with a little bit more sense of urgency than they did against Florida State. Only way I see them winning it. They didn't play with that sense of urgency until they were down 2 scores or more at Florida State. Then they try to make some kind of a comeback. Too little, too late. Can't do that against a big dog like this. Can't do it. You do it, you're going home. You're going home with another L, and then your college football playoff chances is like you're swimming upstream for the rest of the year with no arms. You got to kick your legs. So who needs this game more? Definitely Alabama and Coach DeVere. They need it way more than Georgia does. So, again, sense of urgency. Got to be there. Another big-time matchup this weekend has the LSU Tigers heading to Ole Miss. Now, LSU has looked very impressive. That's why they ranked 4th. Beat Clemson. They've been beating everybody. Last couple, they beat Florida. But I'm not going to say Florida's a cupcake, but they ain't the Florida that they need to be. But then, still, they've been winning. And at this point, when you're ranked in the top 5, all you need to do is keep winning. At this point, they just keep winning. Can they do that at Ole Miss? I think they can. They got the defense to do it. That's for sure. The defense can be very relentless when it wants to be. However, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin got this boy scoring points. And it don't matter who's the quarterback no more. He just got him lighting up the scoreboard at will sometimes. Really. At will. But can they hold off that defense? And can Ole Miss if the Ole Miss get this game, they will certainly be ranked in the top 10. I believe if they win this game against LSU this Saturday, it might boost them up in the top 10, or they become very, very close. And now they're ranked 13th. They can beat a top 5 opponent. Saying something. Might bump them into the top 10. Then it's really going to get interesting. It really will get interesting in the SEC if Ole Miss can pull off this win. Another intriguing matchup. Notre Dame heading on the road to play Arkansas. Now, conventional wisdom will say Notre Dame going to go down there and kick their ass. I don't know. I have no idea. Last time Notre Dame went down south, they got smacked in the mouth by Miami. Well, I don't know. And last time an SEC school played Notre Dame, Texas A&M, got smacked in the mouth. Like Notre Dame's been having problems with SEC schools lately. What's the deal? I don't know. Marcus Freeman needs to go down there and get a win. He loses this game, everything's gone. I mean, I'm still amazed. They started the season 0-2, and they were still ranked. Okay, they finally got off the schneid and got a win last week. But now you're going back down south. You lose this game, 1-3, you're done. You're done. 1-3, and you do not have a conference affiliation with anyone. Notre Dame's still an independent. And if you start 1-3, somebody taking your playoff spot. Now the 12-team conference playoff, everybody knows if Notre Dame is ranked, they're going to get an automatic spot. I don't know why, it's just how it is. But if Notre Dame is ranked, it don't matter where they ranked. But if they ranked, they'll automatically get a playoff spot. It might be a low one, might be a high one, depending on where they're ranked. But they'll get a playoff spot. But if they lose this game, they ain't going to be ranked no more. 1-3. They'll be out of the top 25. And quite frankly, teams that lose 3 games, especially early, the chances of making the playoffs are just about gone. It's just about gone. So, what does Notre Dame need to do to come out of Arkansas and win? Take care of the damn ball. That's all you got to do. Arkansas is a tier, in my eyes, the tier 2 SEC school. Go down there and take care of the damn ball. That's all you got to do. Don't turn the ball. Don't turn the ball over. Don't get the punch or field goal kick blocked. You should be able to win the game. That's all you got to do. Just don't go down there and get an egg thrown on your face. Go down there and play. Just go down there and play. That's all you got to do. I'll make my picks for that game tomorrow. Another interesting game, Big Ten, Indiana. Ooh, woo! What can you say about them? I didn't think they were for real. Honestly, I didn't think they were for real. But when you beat a top 10 team, I don't care where you at, and you lay that many points on them and that many yards on them, make a top 10 team look like a cupcake, you got to give props. Illinois was overrated. Illinois shouldn't have been ranked that high. Illinois this and that. Who cares? All I saw was a top 10 team get their living asses whooped by Indiana. And I mean, Indiana did not let up. Even when the game was long decided and they had the third strings and the freshmen in the game, they still laid wood on them. That was just wow. I thought it would be a closer game than that, but it wasn't. So Indiana is right outside top 10, ranked 11. But now they're going on the road to Iowa, Kinnick Stadium, Iowa, for a mid-afternoon matchup. Can they duplicate that? Can they actually lay that kind of points in Iowa? Can they actually do that? Now, Iowa's always been known to have a pretty decent defense. Offensively, they wishy-washy. I love saying that word, wishy-washy. Wishy-washy. Yeah, they wishy-washy on offense. They've been that way for years. But defensively, they right there with the best. They've always been right there with the best teams in the country on defense. Can Indiana repeat any close to that performance that they put laid on Illinois in Iowa? I doubt it. Like I said, I'm not sold on Indiana. Yeah, they beat one top 10 opponent. I doubt they play that way against Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. I doubt it. Ain't no way in hell any one of those teams gonna come in there, those three prospective team stadiums, Austin Stadium in Oregon, Beaver Stadium in Penn State, the Horseshoe in Columbus, and lay 50-something points on them. It ain't happening, and they know it. But can they do that in Iowa, Nebraska, those Michigan State. Can they go into them stadiums and lay 40, 50 points on them? That's what I want to see. Before I start giving a little bit more credence to Indiana, let me see you do what you did against Illinois on the road. And against a quality opponent. Not none of them bums, none of them scrubs, a quality opponent. Let me see you do that. Let me see you repeat that performance on the road. Do I think they can do that? Maybe. They got the weapons. Mendoza and this old Mark Cooper. Ooh, he's the truth. He is the truth. But can they do that against a quality defense? A halfway decent defense on the road? We're going to find out this weekend, aren't we? That's Illinois and Iowa. See, there's a lot of good matchups this weekend in college football. Lots of good ones. There's no BYU against Colorado in Colorado. I mean, there's a lot of great matchups. Auburn heading on the road to play Texas A&M. After they got upset, let's just say they got a game stolen from them in Norman, Oklahoma last weekend. How are they going to rebound? And then you got to go back to back on the road. This time to Texas A&M. Now, I believe the only reason Auburn lost, besides some couple of really bogus calls, is turnovers. Got to take care of the ball. Okay, how good, I'll say it till the cows come home. Okay, how good, bad, or indifferent your team is. If you do not take care of that ball, you ain't got a good chance of winning. That's with any team in the nation. And any team in the nation can be upset. You know, be picked off, be upset. Top teams, middle teams, all of them can be upset, picked off even. You don't take care of the ball. We all know that, don't we? Can Auburn take care of the ball against Texas A&M's defense? We're going to find out. Tennessee's going to Mississippi State. They can put up points. We all know that. Tennessee, they can put up points. Can they do it on the road? See, this is like I said, they're playing conference opponents now. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where it starts for all the conferences. All the conferences, the Power Four and the Group of Five. They're playing now their conference opponents. They're not playing all little sisters of the poor university no more. Except maybe Oklahoma. Oklahoma got a bye week, and it's a good thing they do. Because I'm pretty sure all y'all heard about their quarterback, Latier, is going to be out at least a month. I'm calling it a month. He just had thumb surgery. I think they had a fracture or some kind of problem with his cartilage in his thorn hand, thumb on his thorn hand. And he just had surgery, I believe, yesterday. And he's looking at least 3, possibly 4 weeks. So, fortunately for them, they got a bye week this week, but next week they play Kent State. Now, here's my thing. Why is everybody picking on Penn State? Kent State, excuse me. Kent State, the Golden Flashes. Kent, Ohio. Closest big school to where I'm from, Warren, Ohio. Why is everybody picking on them? I mean, Florida State killed them. And now they got to go to, what is it, Kent State? Are you that hard for money? We all know you're getting paid to take these butt whoopings. We know you're getting paid to get taken up the ass. I know that. But do you need the money that bad? Shouldn't you start playing the teams in your conference, the MAC? Why are you going down to Oklahoma and Florida State and all that to be these sacrificial lambs? Do you really need the money that bad? It must be. There's got to be some kind of explanation. So why are you taking these ass whoopings against these major teams when this should be about this time where you should be playing your own conference schedule? Ohio, Toledo, Akron, teams that are a little bit more on your level. I don't know. But that's in 2 weeks. Oklahoma is going to get a warm-up game against Kent State. And then I know the team is hoping that Latil will be somewhat available for the Red River game against Texas. I hope he is. It would be a travesty. He was having a damn good season until he got hurt, and then he got hurt. It's not right. It's not fair, but that's football. Injuries occur. Injuries happen. Hopefully, he'll heal from this in time to keep playing. I mean, Latil was on track to get some Heisman buzz, and then this happened. But anyway, Oklahoma has a bye week, so they don't have to worry about playing this week. And then we got Ohio State going out west to play Washington. Conventional wisdom for me says all Ohio State has to do to win this game is show up, play their game, take care of the ball, go home. Then I looked at highlights of Washington's game. They got to worry about that quarterback. He ain't no joke. He's no joke. They got to worry about him. I know Ohio State will, if they take care of the ball, they can put up how many points they want to on deep against Washington's defense. They ain't gonna scare nobody. But that quarterback from Washington is a dual threat. He can throw it, and he damn sure can run it. Boy, got some wheels. So I hope Matt Patricia got some kind of method to the madness on this one, because he has to contain a quarterback that got some pretty serious wheels on him. But I say Ohio State, all they need to do is show up, play their game on both sides of the ball, take care of the ball, and they should be fine. But that's Ohio State. After a bye week, they're going out west. That will be there against Washington, and I believe that game is in the afternoon. Yep, mid-afternoon game. So we'll see how all these games turn out. Now, what coaches need to win this weekend? Definitely Coach the Bears, James Franklin. Because let's face it. Now, I believe Dabo Swinney needs to win. But I don't even know if they play this weekend. They probably think they do. But they're not in the top 25. But Dabo Swinney's, that chair under his seat got to be so hot. Now, I don't think Clemson is going to do to Dabo Swinney what Oklahoma State did to Mike Gundy. I don't think that's going. Not this year. But he needs to start winning. That's simple as that. He needs to take care better. I don't think he can afford to lose another game this season. He's already lost 3. And he lost to Syracuse pretty damn bad in his home stadium. So he needs to win bad. But the two coaches I know that definitely need prove-it wins this weekend are Coach Beers from Alabama and Coach James Franklin from Penn State. These two coaches need to prove not only to themselves but to everybody else, all the critics, all the pundits, that they're here to stay and they're here to play in 2025. We're gonna find out this weekend. Very good games coming up. Let me know what you think about these games. Drop a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will always appreciate it. And again, drop a comment. You might be right, you might be wrong, but we can discuss it. So what do you think about these games this weekend in college football? Drop a comment and let me know. All right, on to the NFL. Oh, boy. One game tonight. Seahawks going to the desert to play the Arizona Cardinals. There's not much intrigue in there, but both teams, they're okay. Both teams are okay. I don't think they don't scare me. I mean, I really don't. They don't scare me in over the all big picture. They really don't. They're both 2-1, I believe. They don't scare me. They don't. But should be an interesting matchup. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, Connor. I wonder how they're going to deal with that. The injury, the season-ending injury to Connor. How will Arizona replace him? And Marvin Harrison, he's marvelous. I call him marvelous, Marvin. He looked so marvelous so far. He's had a lot of big-time drop passes. And that's uncharacteristic from Marvin Harrison. Usually he has some of the surest hands. He definitely has some of the surest hands in college football. And his hands were sure. I mean, his hands should be out the first couple year or so. His hands should have been insured by Lloyd's of London. That's how good they were. But this year, he's dropped a few. And that's uncharacteristic for him. He usually is one of the more sure-handed receivers in the game. But maybe he can turn that around. They are at home. The Cardinals are at home. But usually when the Cardinals are at home, there usually is a good mixture of not only Cardinals fans, but the fans of the other team. I don't know why that's like that, but it is. Another stadium that usually happens is SoFi Stadium, whether it's the Rams or the Chargers. Usually be a good mix, roughly 50-50. And it'll probably be like that tonight with the Seahawks and the Cardinals, especially this being a divisional game. It should be, I hope it be entertaining. Because neither one of these teams' defenses wow me. They don't. But it should be an entertaining game. We'll see. That's tonight to start week 4 in the NFL. But the most intriguing matchup of this weekend, you can say the Chiefs and the Eagles. Yeah. You can say the Eagles and the Bucks, 2-3-0 teams going at it. Yeah. No. The biggest and most intriguing and most interesting matchup this week is definitely going to happen in Arlington, Texas. When Michael Parsons wearing yellow and white and green instead of cowboy blue and white, and his Green Bay Packers come down to AT&T Stadium to take over the Cowboys Sunday night. I'm still wondering. I'm going to be wondering for the next couple of days what the fans going to say. How are they going to treat Michael Parsons? I mean, they got to know it wasn't his fault that he's gone. All he wanted was the money to get paid fairly. That's all he wanted. But Jerry Jones and all this drama, he and that eagle here that pretty much the size of Texas and Oklahoma combined, didn't want to meet with his agent. Didn't want to discuss it no more. And then ends up trading him to Green Bay for, I've been saying it, I'll say it again, he traded him to Green Bay for a couple of warm, stale bags of chips and a warm soda that was left outside too long. Now look at their defense. Folks, remember last year? The defense wasn't that good. And that was with Michael Parsons. But at least they had some semblance of a pass rush. They just couldn't stop the run. But they had a pass rush. Limited as it may have been, they had a pass rush. They just couldn't stop the run. Teams were running over around and fooling. Now that Parsons gone, they have nothing. Nothing. No pass rush, and they still can't stop the run. I mean, they made Caleb Williams look like the second coming of Lamar Jackson. They made Russell Wilson, who might I add is now sitting the bench for the New York Giants over rookie Jackson Dart, and will be sitting the bench for the foreseeable future. But against Dallas, it was like he rewinded the clock. He went back to his Seattle days, 350 yards and 3 touchdowns against that pathetic excuse of a defense for the Cowboys. And here we go. Now Jordan Love coming in now and here to Arlington. He didn't look good. He didn't look that good last week against the Browns. But then again, the Browns have statistically the best defense in the league. Their problem is they can't score no points. Offense is not good. Dallas is the complete opposite of the Cleveland Browns. They got enough, even though the injury to CeeDee Lamb might slow that offense down a little bit. But they got enough offense to hang with anybody. No D. Not a shred of defense. I'm wondering I know they're on those betting platforms, FanDuel, DraftKings. I wonder who's going to put Jordan Love on the parlay line on their betting, on the parlay line, and see how many yards he throw for against Dallas. If I was betting on the parlay line, I have him throw for 300. 300 with 3 touchdowns. That's what I think Jordan Love is going to do against that Cowboys defense. 300 yards minimum and 3 touchdowns. He might throw 1 interception. I'll give him 1 interception. But that's what my line will be. Over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Why not? Cowboys defense couldn't stop a cold if they had NyQuil and Benadryl. Couldn't stop it. What else can I say about their defense? You've seen it. I'm no anybody. Look what Caleb Williams, man, who struggled against most all the teams he's played against. Usually he's running for his life. And I mean running fast. Cowboys, he had enough time in the pocket to call his baby mama or wife or whoever. Hey baby, how you doing? You see me on TV? Do his taxes, check his bank account, maybe order a pizza. I mean, in Chicago, deep dish pizzas. And then fling it downfield. And you usually bring it to a receiver who, if he wasn't wide open, he was in double coverage, they still caught the ball. That's how bad that defense is. And now you got Michael Parsons coming back to Arlington. I know when they show that game, they're going to show a lot of pictures. Michael Parsons, and then they're going to flash up to see Jerry Jones just to see his reaction. Especially if Michael Parsons ends up sacking Dak Prescott. Oh, man. You're going to see. I want to see the look on Jerry Jones' face. And if he sacks Michael Parsons, which I believe he'll get him at least twice, I'm going to see Jerry Jones' face flash on my TV, and I'm going to say, this is your damn fault. See what you did, you idiot. Now, I don't like calling nobody an idiot, especially Jerry Jones. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for Jerry Jones as an owner. But as a general manager, he got to go. He put that defense together. And I'll never understand why you trade your best defensive player and you got nothing in return. I don't want to hear about Clark, whatever his name was, because he's still sorry against the run. And you have absolutely no pass rush. If you're going to trade your best defensive player, God damn it, you better have somebody at least ready to take his spot. Damn it to hell, you don't just trade your best defensive player away because your ego said so. That's crazy. You're doing the service to your team, to the fans. I still don't believe why these fans still show up to their games. It's like, we don't care. We just want to see them play. No, you should deserve, the fans should demand and deserve better than this. This defense is probably the most horrible defense I've ever seen the Cowboys play. And I've been down here in Texas 9 years, and I've never seen this defense play this bad. It's like an Olay defense, like Olay. And I don't blame the coach. I don't blame the defensive coordinator, even though I should. Blame Jerry Jones. You put this roster together. And how dare you? How dare you come on any TV, press conference, or whatever, and have the unmitigated gall to say that this team is a playoff contender? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You got to be kidding me. Are you that delusional? You know, I know a lot of these Cowboys fans may be a little bit delusional to start the season, but they can't be delusional about what they see on TV with this team. You're 1-2. The only reason why you won the one game is because you got an amazing field goal kicker. You having one amazing, and that's probably the best part of the team, the place kicker. You have no concept of a defense. I don't even know if I can blame this on the defensive coordinator. I don't know. Yeah, his schemes look, he plays way too much zone. But then again, you ain't got the personnel to play man because you don't have a pass rush. Because your best defensive player was an edge rusher. He got on. Oh, but you're going to be seeing him Sunday on the other team. And he's probably going to show you firsthand what you passed up on. It don't make no sense. It still don't make it sense. We in week 4, and it will never make sense. Dallas, the only thing Dallas can do is get through this game and try not to give up 40 points. Try not to. Try not to give up 35 or 40 points. You at home. Try to just humor me. Try not to do that. The Browns only gave him 10. The Cleveland Browns, yes, everybody thinks that stinks. Team that stinks. But they ain't watching them on defense. Best defense in the league. By far. That's why they held Green Bay to 10 points, and that's why they upset them. I think Green Bay is going to have more than that halfway through the first quarter. I'm pretty sure of that. Or at least 2/3 of the way to the first quarter, they're going to eclipse how much they scored against the Browns in a whole game. I hate to say that, but that's the reality. Like I said, I call it like I see it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you see it the same way. Offense, they can do some things if everybody's healthy on offense. Defense, they can't do a damn thing. They can't guard a damn door if it was locked. And they can't stop a cold with Advil and Benadryl. It's just the way it is. And there's nobody to blame but Jerry Jones. You the general manager. You put this team together. Now what you gonna, and you see this on the field. You see how bad that defense is. And you got the nerve to say, this is a playoff team. In what realm? Maybe in high school, but definitely not in the pros. So that's going to be, that to me, is the most intriguing matchup of the weekend, of week 4. Packers, Cowboys. Michael Parsons coming back home for a minute. How the fans going to treat him? They shouldn't, I don't think they should boo him. But then again, he's on the other team now. You know, he's on the other team. You're supposed to boo the other team, right? That's just how it is. But I know they ain't going to put no tribute on the Videotron about him. They shouldn't do that. But, you know, and I definitely don't think it's his fault that he's going. I don't care what anybody say. I don't think it's his fault. It's Jerry Jones. It's his fault that he's now a Green Bay Packer. I want to see how that turns out, though. Come Sunday, we'll find out. All right. Last thing we want to get into, the MLB playoffs. The MLB chase The pennant chase is heating up. It is heating up. Got some teams that have clinched playoff spots since we last spoke about this. Seattle Mariners are now the AL West champs. And that's a shame for the Astros. They have been holding down the division most of the summer. And then come the end, they picked a hell of a time to have a swoon. Now they got swept by the Astros got swept by the Mariners, and they said, that's all we needed. Come on home, take out the Rockies twice, boom. AL West champs. Congratulations to the Seattle Mariners. It's a hell of a stretch run y'all been on. Now, got a team that can clinch a playoff spot tonight. And that's the Cleveland Guardians. I keep wanting to say that the Indians, the Guardians. They could clinch. Do you believe this? I mean, they were 13 and 1/2 games behind first place come July 8th or 9th or something. Earlier this month, they were at best 11 games behind Detroit. And at least 5-6 games behind the third wild card spot. Everybody was like, they're done. There were 2 games under 500 earlier this month. 2 games under 500. All I was hoping for was they have a 500 season, 81 up, 81 down, and then we'll try to do better next year. Ladies and gentlemen, the Guardians can actually take a playoff spot tonight, September 25th, 2025. The Guardians can take a playoff spot tonight if they beat Detroit to complete a 3-game sweep, another sweep of the Detroit Tigers, and if the Astros lose tonight or this afternoon to the Athletics. If that happens, the Guardians are assured of no worse than the 3rd spot in the wild card. They've clinched the playoff berth. Who saw this coming early this month? Nobody. And if they do, but wait, there's more. If they do win tonight, their magic number would be 1 to clinch the AL Central Division, which means they can win any one of their last 3 games, which are home finale series against the Texas Rangers. If they win tonight and win any of their last 3 games, they pulled off the biggest comeback in MLB history. They will have pulled off the biggest comeback regular season in Major League Baseball history. No team has ever come back with such a large deficit to win a division title. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. I've been waiting. I hate to say that because I'm always a pessimist when it comes to Cleveland sports because I know I've lived it, and they've always tended to let me down when I think they own a role. They end up tending to let me down. So I've been a pessimist about this, and I'm like, oh, how bad they lose tonight, and then find out they won. They've been still winning, and they keep winning. And they knew, it was like they knew they couldn't take too many losses comes after September 4th. They knew they couldn't take too many more losses. And they haven't. They won 17 of the last 19 games. And here's another stat for you. Their starting pitchers have not given up more than 2 runs. The starting pitcher has not given up more than 2 runs in 19 consecutive games. You get that kind of starting pitching, you should be winning 17-19. Even if your offense is so-so, which, let's face it, Cleveland's offense, their batting is last in the league, last in baseball. But all they need to do is get that kind of start and just get enough. And they've been hitting lately, especially with 2 outs. They've been getting a lot of clutch hits with 2 outs. You do that. If you can do that, along with your starting pitchers going 6-7 innings and only giving up 2 runs or less, you better win some games. And that's what they've been doing. It's amazing. I call it the Cleveland Miracle. The miracle run of 2025. But they ain't the only ones. You got the Phillies, you got the Padres still trying to catch the Dodgers. 2.5 back. They can't afford another loss, the Padres. And the Brewers still trying to hold off the Phillies for the top seed in the National League. They're, I believe, 2 games up. 2.5 games up. They're 2.5 games up on Philly for the top seed National League. And Cincinnati is about a game behind the Mets. Also, the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're a game behind the Mets for the 3rd wild card spot. Now, if the Mets end up choking away that wild card spot, you would have to ask yourself who had the bigger collapse, the Mets or the Tigers. Well, I'm pretty sure the Mets payroll was infinitely larger than the Tigers. When you spend that kind of money, I believe it, if I remember it right, about anywhere from like $340, $350 million payroll, you better be winning some games. You better be making some playoffs. You better be winning some division. The Mets had the division lead for at least 2-3 months. They just stopped playing. $350 million payroll, and you mean to tell me you can't even make the playoffs? Ooh, you know some heads gonna roll, and they should. They should roll like a donut right down the hill in somebody's mouth. Because that's unacceptable. You spending that much money on payroll and your team can't even make the playoffs. They're in danger of not even making the playoffs. But you never can count out those small market teams. You know why? Because those teams usually play with heart. They know they ain't getting paid the big dollars, but they play together and they play with heart. And that always takes precedence over talent. When you play together and you play with heart and hustle, yeah, talent will help, but it ain't everything. And they proven that. The Diamondbacks, the Reds, they're proving that. The Mets, I don't know. But those where we at in the playoffs, the pennant races up to now. Everybody else is gone home. Everybody else eliminated, playing out the string. But those are the teams that are still in it. So it's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend for the final weekend of Major League Baseball. And I'm of course, interested to see if the Guardians can actually pull this off. If they do, wow. Their manager should be manager of the year again. I don't care what anybody say. If he gets this team to the playoffs after struggling almost all summer with pitching and with hitting, he deserves to get manager of the year again. I'm sorry. He deserves it. Stephen Book. He deserves it. He probably won't get it, but he deserves to get some votes. We'll see. Anyway, that's my time for today. Again, if you like what you're hearing, if you don't like what you're hearing, hit that like and subscribe button. Like I tell you, I do this every day at this time. Tomorrow is Friday. That's Pick'em Friday. Now, hopefully, next Monday I won't have the technical difficulties I had this past Monday, so I can give you my results of my picks. Last week I went 7-7 or 8-7 in my picks in NFL. I got to do better than that. I got to do better, and I will do better. I'm destined to do better. I know my football, so I know I might even pick some upsets. I don't know. I might pick a couple of teams that ain't got no chance in hell of winning, and might say, "The hell with that. They gonna win." I might just do that. It's Pick'em Friday tomorrow on the Total Sports Ozone. I'm the big O with the big mouth. Again, if you like what you're hearing, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll also have this audio of this show on my Spotify podcast. So, it's the big O saying peace, and I'll see you tomorrow. See ya.